This is April 15th, and I'm just taking a walk around my garden to see what's growing and what's coming up out of the ground. It's kind of nice to walk around in the early spring like this so you can see what's growing. And there's tulips blooming, nice red and white tulip. There's some poppies growing down in there. They'll be blooming nice later on this year. There's some daffodils in there. There's some more daffodils and a nice red tulip. There's loosestrife coming up right in there. That's got nice yellow flowers on it throughout the year. Those are grape hyacinths. A nice little blue, small blue wildflower. I also got roses growing in there. And some sedum. And there's honeysuckle growing on this swing. That's Catmint down there. And there's a hyacinths and some daylilies growing in there. Daylilies will be blooming later on this summer. And then there's more tulips and hyacinths and everything down there. That's a lily just coming up out of the ground. It'll get like 5 or 6 foot tall. Those are hardy geraniums. They have small blue flowers. They're a nice perennial. There's another lily coming up. There's some Siberian blue squill. I like those. You see them all over the place in the spring, and then they are gone for the rest of the year. Those are peonies growing right up there beside the birdbath. You'll have all the tulips and the daffodils. There's a hyacinth right there you can see. That is a sedum. It's a taller variety. That's a Columbine down in there with those tulips. There's a bird in the bush with those red flowers there. The bird in the bushes are just about done blooming for this year. They're a bulb or a root that you plant, and they only grow in the spring. There's a nice one right there, a tuber. You just plant it and they grow in the spring like that, and then they fade away for the rest of the year. There's some hardy geraniums that I planted last year, and they're coming back up. There's another hardy geranium that's several years old. It'll be loaded with blue flowers later on in the year. It's growing in there with some loosestrife, and I like the combination of the blue flowers and the yellow flowers. And that ground cover down in there is Pachysandra with the white flowers on it. And there's some poppies I moved over here, and a couple irises. That is an Astilbe right there. It has like little feathery flowers later on in the year. And that's a Corydalis right there. That is another Columbine. It actually looks like it's getting ready to bloom. Little blue flowers are on Vinca minor. It's a ground cover that I have over here. I wouldn't want to put that in a flower bed because it's too hard to control, but this flower bed here is for ground covers. There's the blue flowers of the Vinca minor. It's a pretty ferocious ground cover for a flower bed, but when you put things with it like hostas and things like that, it seems to do okay. A lot of these spring flowers, they grow, and then they're done before the Vinca minor even gets started for the year. A lot of daffodils over on this side too. And that is a bleeding heart. It's been there for several years and it seems to be doing pretty good. There's more lilies coming up. And that ground cover there is bishop's weed. It's a pretty ferocious ground cover, so I would never plant it in a regular flower bed, but over here it's fine with the hostas and the spring growing plants that are grown up, and then their growing season is over before it even gets started. The red tulips and the yellow daffodils. There's more coral bells. There's a big old plant of coral bells right there. It's been there for several years. And it's got some ground cover of lamium down in there. And then there's some hostas. And that bush is a bush cherry. Those are daylilies and red tulips and daffodils. This is a Easter or Lenten rose, which has been there for quite a few years, and it's gotten pretty big over the years. It's a nice big plant, and it blooms for a couple of months in the spring. It has a very long blooming period. Seems to like it here. It's on the side of the house where it only gets morning sun, and there's a lot of organic material in here, and it's well drained, and it's a hardy plant that just keeps coming back every year.